Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So we are from group 3, we will present about notion of power and conflict. So our member is me, Aisyahrani Anam number 3, Aulia Mifta number 9, Muhammad Hammam Firdaus number 17, and the last is Vito Rosheno number 21. Notion of power. So power is an authority that can be obtained by a person or group to carry out this authority in accordance with the given authority. The source of power is divided into two. The first one is wealth and the second one is belief or religion. Wealth, for example, a rich businessman has power over a politician or a subordinate who has a debt that has not been paid back. Belief or religion. In many places, religious scholars have power over their followers, so that they are considered informal leaders who need to be taken into account in the decision-making process in that place. Types of power. So types of power is divided into three. The first one is casta type, the second one is oligarchic type, and the last is democratic type. Casta type, this is a system of power layers with strict and rigid dividing lines. Oligarchic type still has a clear dividing line. However, the basis for differentiating social classes is determined by the culture of the community.
Management of conflict. There are 5 types of conflict management. First, accommodating. Accommodating is an effort carried by gathering various opinions of the parties to the conflict. The second is avoiding. Avoiding is an attempt to avoid a conflict so as not to get involved in it. The third, compromising. By listening to the opinion of all parties and deciding a way out while still prioritizing common interest is a way that is fair for all parties. The fourth, collaborating. Collaborating is a way of resolving conflict by working together. That result is satisfying all parties. The fifth is competing. The method used by directing the parties involved in the conflict to compete and win the interests of each parties. The sixth, conglomeration. The method is a combination of resolving conflict by combining the 5 types above. Of course, this method will take more time and effort. Conflict management strategy. The first strategy is introduction. You must first know the root or the beginning of the conflict and also have to know the circumstance around when the conflict was not and was happening. The second, diagnosis. If you have obtained the information you want to obtain, the next step is to think the right solution to resolve the conflict. The third, agree on a solution. If you have thought the right solution, the next step is to agree on the solution. It is the better if the solution used is not one side, and there must also be an intermediary. The fourth is implementation. After the solution is mutually agreed upon, the next step is for all parties to implement and accept the agreed solution. And the last is evaluation. After the conflict is over, do an evaluation together. Deliberation on things that can avoid conflict again in the future. Conflict management function. The first function is improve employee performance and activity. In conflict management, expressing opinion in the right tool for employees. Develop employee skills. With the existence of conflict management, it will indirectly hone the ability of employees to think logically, creatively, and rationally. And the last function, increase mutual respect. With conflict management, there will be various opinions that arise. Different opinion can lead to division. It is a challenge how you can respect other people's opinion and not drop them.
The next is causes and conflict in organization. It have 5 types, and The first is conflict in individual, which is occur when the individual face uncertainty about the job he hopes to carry out. It's like not same with the expectation. And number two is conflict between group within the same organization. It's about the group A and group B have a conflict, but they in the same organization. And number three is conflict between individual in the same organization. It can in the same group or in different group but the same organization, but it's the individual, not the group. Number four is conflict between organization. For example, organization B and organization C, like this. It's like because which arise as a result a form of economic competition in a country's economic system. This conflict has led to the development of new products, technologies, and services, lower prices, and more efficient use of the resources. And the last is conflict between individual and group. It's like, for example, Ariana and the group. For example, you in the same group, but just you have a different argument, so it make a conflict between you and your group, like this. And the next, the causes of conflict in the organization. It's have a five. The first is individual difference, including differences in the establishment and feelings. And number two is different cultural backgrounds, so that they from different personality. For example, from CDB and you are from CDB, like this. So the background is different between you and your friends, for example. And number three is differences in the interests of individual or group. It's like you have a different interest about something of individual or in the group. And number three is rapid and sudden changes in value and society. It's about like in your environment, in your social, like this. And the last is differences in interaction pattern with one another. It's like your about your interaction, about your relationship with someone, for example friendship with your partner, for example, like this.
Organizational conflict is a mismatch between two or more members of the organization arising from the fact that they have the share in terms of getting limited resource. In work activities, organizational conflict can be positive or negative. Okay, in our organization conflict, we have advantage and disadvantage. Okay, this advantage is number one is expression exercise. Expression exercise is when you find yourself or other in conflict situation. It is important to remember to be open to other people's opinions. When we learn to be other people and try to understand their point of view, we develop our communication skill. Number two is learn about people and how to communicate with many people at one time for several hours a day. From our own problematic situation and say with other, we get a unique opportunity to study how different people express their need, dislike, and worries. Better, number three is better than ignoring. Recognition from unresolved problem and supporting the peaceful resolution of emerging conflict helps address problem from the start before they become company-wide. The community has the opportunity to identify problems and express their opinion. The disadvantage conflict in organization. Number one one is inter-team tension. The inter-team tension is the obvious disadvantage of workspace conflict is that they can divide the team into supportive parties and make them active participants in the tension that has built up. Even if the uses in question do not really affect them, or conversely, some teammates will self-isolate and take no part in resolving conflict. Number 2 is the winner-loss issue. Usually, when things were resolved, both parties seem to get what they want. However, it is not always considered that way. One side will always be happier about the outcome than the other. This may leave them with unresolved tension and serve as the basis for subsequent conflict. Number 3 is time consuming. Time consuming is one of the most grueling losses in loss of valuable company time. Workplace related problems also need to be resolved there and not outright, so then the team manager can have the control to streamline conflict. Efficiency is key when this occurs, and the less time spent resolving conflict, the better for the project. Okay, that is from us. Thank you for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.